Bless all the families, Lord, that are bereaved on this day. We pray, Heavenly Father, that you will let them know that you are still sovereign and you're still in control. Father, we pray that you would bless those, Lord Heavenly Father, that woke up this morning hungry. That woke up, Lord Heavenly Father, without shelter. Lord, we pray for the homeless. Help us, Lord Heavenly Father, that we might help them. Father, we pray this morning that you would search inward at our hearts, Lord. And if anything is there that is displeasing, Lord, remove it at this time. Father, we pray for the leaders all over this vast world, Lord Heavenly Father. Give them the knowledge and the wisdom, Lord Heavenly Father, that we might not repeat the same mistakes of our forefathers. Lead and guide us, O Lord, to do your will. And Lord, when praying days are over, we ask, O Lord, that you give us a home somewhere in your kingdom. In thy Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the Historical Hosanna Missionary Baptist Church, better known as HHMBC. We are elated to come to you today, family and friends, those that are joining us live on Facebook, those that are joining us live on our YouTube channel, HHMBC Augusta. In accordance with what has been going on in our nation with the coronavirus, I want you to be assured that we are here with a minimal crew, and I want to begin by saying thank you to these gentlemen that are with us. I'm sure they don't want me to call each of their names, but we are followed by the guidelines that have been set by the CDC, and we're maintaining our 6-foot distance from one another, and there are less than 10 of us here. And so we're glad to be able to bring you this service on this Sunday. Let me begin before I get into prayer with our announcements. Again, if you did not know, we have suffered a fire. It was an arson that started fire at the house that was adjacent to our church, leaked from that house to our church, and we sustained substantial damage. We do have a GoFundMe for the church to help us rebuild, which can be found on our Facebook page, Historic Hosanna Missionary Baptist Church. Let me start out by saying a big shout out and thank you to all of our health workers who are putting themselves in harm's way during this pandemic. I want to say a shout out and a thank you to our servicemen and women who are still serving in harm's way. Big shout out to all of our public officials and servants, the fire department, the police department, the EMS, and all of those that are continuing to work through this social distancing. We pray for them and for their families that God will put a hedge of protection around them. And again, we ask that you would follow the guidelines again that have been set forth by the CDC, our president, our governor, and all the way down to our mayor. I did notice, brothers, that there were some churches that there were more than 10 cars in front, and so I don't know if they are in defiance, but at this point we should be taking the precaution and realizing that God gave us a mandate in our scriptures to obey the laws of the land. With that being said, big shout out to all the HHMBC members who are joining us. I know you would like to be here. I would like for you to be here. But a big high five and a big spiritual hug to you. As we prepare now for our prayer, the Bible declares that we ought to pray without ceasing. And we know that prayer changes people and people change things. Before I pray, just let me say this, is that we do not see this as a punishment from God. Oftentimes we give credit to God that's not something that God needs to take credit for, or we'll give credit to the devil as something that he doesn't need to receive credit for. If we remember the Garden of Eden, God gave Adam and Eve a choice to obey his word or not to. And so when they were disobedient, the consequences of their disobedience was not his fault, but their very own. But I'm so glad and so thankful for a Savior Jesus that he allows us to receive mercy and grace in the midst of our consequences from our choices. And so as we pray, again, remember all of our first responders, our medical personnel, our doctors, our nurses, our CNAs, and all of those who are still working in the hospitals. Remember the families of those who are grieving the loss of a loved one as a result of this pandemic. Those families who are affected by this pandemic. Those families that have lost jobs. Those families whose livelihood and their way of living has been changed. For our God is yet able. Our men and women in uniform and all of those that are still putting their lives in harm's way to make sure that you and I are yet safe. Our prayer list is as follows. Please remember Milton Nicosia Houston, Jerry Houston, Annie Aiken, George Nipper, James Carter, Arthur Patricia Lewis, Brian Brown, Jerome Davis, Dorothy Houston, Audrey Hall, Mike and Josephine Middleton, Betty Johnson, Marcus and Clarice Johnson, Ron and Rosalind Molly, Jay Moffitt, Willie Boyd, Miss Willie Brown, DeMond Johnson, Veronica Sims, the Nixon family, the Wells family, the Demery family, the Sharp family, the Hawkins family, the Robertson family, the Polk family, the Munch family, the White family, the Thurman family, the Mackey family, the Middleton family, the Nully family, the Nipper family, Vanessa Jones and family, the Hall family, the Bush family, the Newsom family, Miranda Walker and family, the Joyner family, Arthur Jones and family, the Michelle Sharper family, the Broadway Baptist Church family, Miss Donna Ford, Sharon Taylor, John Douglas, Brenda Graham, Wallace Henry Jr., T. Ramsey, Doris Moffitt, Ave Perkins and family, Anna Blair and family, Ruth Williams and family, Brenda Palmer, Kim Hartley, Jeffrey Pope, Crystal Dawson, Cole Dawson, Christina McZorn, Blake McZorn, Reverend Herbert Bing and family, Robert Calderon, Cheryl Nixon, Natalie Caprice, Raymond Plum, Quentin Nash, Madeline Lance Strahan, David Graham, Kathy Hall, Wilma Moffitt, Karen Butler, Raheem Mathis, Sylvia Page, James Adams, Mary Brundage and family, Chelsea Jenkins, Matiti Harry, Tasha Hall, Debbie and Tosh, Mr. Warren McSorley, T. Ramsey, Sharon Ellis, Miss Bessie Nixon, Reginald Dock, Miss J.B. Young, Lincoln Woods, Lawrence Moffitt and family, Greg Morrison and family, Pastor Gregory Fuller, the Macedonia Church family, the Tanksley family, Pastor Claude Harris Sr. and family, Dr. D.K. Robertson and family, Kendra Wayne Jackson, Reverend Clarence Brown and family, Reverend B.J. Lockhart and family, Bishop Willie Jackson and family, William Tamara Preacher and family, Ryan Wilder and family, Pete McZorn, Michelle Lampton, Charleston Lee, Kate Braxton and family, Reverend Montrese Mills and family, Sister Joe Nash and family, Friendly Church of God in Christ, Yolanda Reeves, Sarah Grinson, the Lewis family, Pastor Alan Moss and family, the Millbrook and the Morgan families, the Patton family, the Johnson family, Dale Graham and family, Rosina Lattimore and family, Anthony Braddock and family, Brian Lavender, the Strahan family, Rebecca Dent and family, Mona Willette Dial, Miranda Hines and family, Sister Jasmine Haywood and family, and any others that you know to call in prayer. Let us pray. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer. Most wise and gracious Father, we come to you because your word declares that man ought to always pray God, we pray because praying increases our faith. God, we recognize that prayer is communication between a heavenly parent and his child. And so we come to you as children asking for your help, for your security. We are in troubling times. God, our nation, our world seems to be at panic. But God, we recognize that you are not a God that panics. You are not a God that creates fear. But God, you are a God that gives us reassurance that you would never leave us nor forsake us. And that in times like these, God, is when we can call on you and expect that you will answer. And God, while we realize that we will be affected in different ways, God, we know that you are in control. And by God, we don't blame you for this pandemic. We trust you throughout its duration. For God, you are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And while we find ourselves taking precautions, God, we will not succumb to the spirit of fear. For you've not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. Help us, God, to think clearly. Help us not to operate in chaos and panic, but help us to operate, Father God, in confidence and in the Spirit. We ask your blessing on every name that we called on this prayer list and every name we don't know to call. We pray, God, again for all of those who are working in the health field. We pray for those who have already been affected by casualties from this pandemic. God, we ask that you would comfort them in their grief. Give them that peace that surpasses all understanding. But God, as you've given us a word for today, help us to recognize that we came into this world with nothing and we shall leave with nothing. And that each of us, whether we want to or not, have an unannounced appointment with death. For it is appointed to man once to die. So we pray that you would comfort us again. Keep us and be with us as we walk in your hand. We ask these and all other blessings in the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ. Forgive us of our sins and our iniquity. Wash us in the precious blood of the Lamb. We pray that you will continue to bless these services and everyone that hears us through social media. Those who found it not robbery to come out, and we might be able to present these services to our members and to our followers. In the name of Yeshua the Christ. Amen, amen, and amen. At this time we will have a selection by Elder Ricky Hawkins.
Though the stars keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell my life from day. life. And sometimes it's hard to tell my nights from days. Still the hope that lies within is reassured. As I keep my eyes upon the distant shores, I know He lead me safely to that blessed place He has prepared. But if the storm don't cease, and if the winds keep on raging in my life, my soul, please take again the Lord. But if the storm don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing